Remember our first ride? Punctuality is big for me.
Oh, come on. That's because you didn't send me the address until super late.
I was nervous.
Do you even remember where we ended up on that ride?
Of course I do.
And you didn't have anything planned out that day?
I had some things planned. Aren't you the one who taught me the best things happen spontaneously?
Discovery is half the fun.
Yeah. It is not down on any map. True places never are.
Okay, thanks, Shakespeare.
Actually, Herman Melville said that.
You never told me that was the day.
You rescued me?
What do you mean I rescued you?
You were like coming home. So comfortable. So familiar.
I still don't see how that's rescuing you.
Not like the old days when I kept myself chained up in the house. You set me free.
It was so beautiful outside that day.
You were beautiful. Are beautiful.
And don't forget stylish.
And so humble.
Please, Mr. Versatility.
I can't help that I'm good at a lot of things.
I did not think we were going to make it up that hill.
I didn't either. You showed me a whole new gear. That was the moment I knew you were the one.
You still haven't answered my question yet. Where did we end up that day?
Exactly where we needed to be.
Which was... where?
Parked at the most beautiful sunset of my life.
Our life. And it was worth the wait. Do you think humans love each other like we do?
I think they're getting there.
Not without us.
Not without us.
It's how we roll.
Thank you for purchasing a Raleigh bike. As you open the box, you'll see there is some assembly required. If you have never built a bike before, this process will probably take you up to 120 minutes. If you are handy with tools, expect to spend around 80 to 100 minutes. If you have done some bike wrenching before but never actually built a bike, you'll need 60 to 80 minutes. And if you're an expert bike mechanic, you can probably be riding within 30 to 60 minutes. Grab the box containing the small parts and keep these parts handy. You'll need a few tools for assembly, including metric Allen wrenches, bike grease, a tire pump, screwdrivers, wire cutters, and an adjustable wrench. Before you insert the seat post, smear some grease on the post to make installation and adjustments easier, and make sure you push it past the minimum insertion line. Close the quick release or tighten the seat post clamp bolt. You'll know your seat post is tight enough if you can't twist it side to side. Check that your stem is facing forward along with your fork. You may need to turn your fork forward to line them both up. Tighten the 2 pinch bolts evenly. The wrench should leave an imprint on your palm when it's tight enough. Remove the faceplate bolts and the faceplate, then center your handlebars. Tighten the bolts evenly and snugly, then check to make sure you have an equal gap on the top and bottom. To install the wheels, take the plastic caps off the wheel and loosen the bolts enough that you can fit the axle into the dropouts of the fork. Now tighten the bolts evenly by hand until they are snug, then fully tighten them with your wrench. You'll know the bolts are tight enough when the wrench leaves an imprint on your palm. If your bike has quick release axles, remove the plastic caps from your front wheel and slide the quick release through the hub with 1 conical spring on each side. Grease the threads and thread the nut on loosely. Put the fork wheel in the fork, and if the brake caliper is already installed, carefully guide the rotor in between the brake pads, then begin to tighten the quick release. When you close the lever, it should tuck up near the fork leg, and when it's tight enough, the lever will leave an imprint on your palm. If your bike has a through axle, it's probably already installed in the fork. Take it out and place the front wheel in the fork. If the brake caliper is already attached, carefully guide the brake rotor between the brake pads. If your through axle has threads, grease them, push it through the fork and the hub, and turn clockwise to tighten it. When you close the lever, it should leave an imprint on your palm when it's tight enough. After you get your front wheel on, check the back wheel for proper tightness too. All pedals are right and left specific, so be careful as to which pedal goes where. Use a small dab of grease on the threads. The right pedal goes on the side with the chain and threads in clockwise. The left pedal goes on the non-chain side and threads in counterclockwise. Snug your pedals with a pedal wrench or a thin adjustable wrench. For mechanical disc brakes, attach the caliper body loosely to the fork if it's not already on. With the wheel secured, run the cable from the brake arm through the cable housing and through the pinch bolt. Pull the cable taut and tighten the pinch bolt. Next, align the caliper body by hand, visually centering the rotor in between the brake pads. When you can see a gap on both sides of the rotor, tighten the bolts holding the caliper body to the frame. Spin the wheel to test the system, and if there is any rubbing, make adjustments using the bolts you just tightened and adjust as necessary. To adjust your rear derailleur, turn the cranks and shift the chain to the smallest cog in the back. Use the high limit screw to center the derailleur underneath the smallest cog. Undo the pinch bolt and pull the slack out of the cable. While turning the cranks, shift up into the lowest gear. Now you can use the low limit screw to center the derailleur underneath the largest cog. To adjust your front derailleur, shift into the smallest chainring in the front and the largest cog in the back. Use the low limit screw to position the inner plate as close as you can to the chain without touching it. Loosen the pinch bolt to pull the slack out of the cable and retighten. While turning the cranks, shift up into the largest chainring in the front and the smallest cog in the back. Now you can use the high limit screw to position the outer plate of the derailleur as close to the chain as you can without touching it. Put the red reflector on the seat post and the white one on your handlebars. Safety first. Cut any extra cable down with your cutters and pinch a cable end on with your pliers to keep the cable from fraying. Finally, pump your tires following the guidelines on the sidewall of the tire. Before you head out on a ride, double check the tightness of your seat post and handlebars and test the brakes to make sure they'll stop you when you need them.